All right, welcome back into McLean Stadium. A little recap of what happened here today as the Horned Frogs win it 29-28. It's our Frogs Today post-game special here from Waco. Griffin Kale with a 40-yarder to win it. But there's a lot that went into this one, folks. It was not the prettiest of games for TCU. Back and forth in that first half. Baylor's offense was really in stride. Let's start the day for you with a scene setter. Find out what was happening in preparation for number 4 coming to town, the Horned Frogs of TCU. Let's start with our own Jamie Plunkett. Jamie?
That's absolutely right, Brian. The scene here in Waco today was just unbelievable. McLean Stadium was packed. The Baylor students were going absolutely crazy from right out of the gate. They ran on the field as they always do. You know, at TCU we let the little kids do that, but here at Baylor they let the students run out onto the field. But, you know, the Frogs got down early in a rivalry game like they have so many times this year, like they have so many times in this stadium, but they kept their heads like they always do. They were confident, they were calm, they were poised, and that paid off at the end of the game. But I have to say, it did feel a little bit like the energy was just slightly better for the Frogs in post-game after this particular victory, coming out on top over their hated rival Baylor.
Well, this ball game was tied at 14 at the half, back and forth. The Frogs were lucky to be in this one at that point. Then came the halftime adjustments, which we know this team has been very good at. Joe Gillespie, the defensive coordinator, Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator as well. They go into the locker room, and they start scheming. Our own David Bowden gives us some insight into what happened at halftime for these Horned Frogs.
Yes, Brian, as soon as this one got going, Baylor emptied the kitchen sink in terms of their offensive game plan, particularly in the run. They had all kinds of false keys. They had pullers off of that stretch zone coming back the other way, and that really gave the linebackers for TCU fits, slowed them down, especially when they went back to the stretch run. They were a little bit slower over the top. Coach Sonny Dykes talked about that in the postgame, but they got that fixed by slowing it down and just hanging back in the second half, which allowed them to get some stops and some key stops, obviously. And then, you know, towards the end of the game, there was some discussion about possibly kicking the onside kick, but TCU had all 3 timeouts, and they gathered together as a huddle. You saw Coach Tomerdal, the special teams coordinator, Coach Sonny Dykes, and Jeff Jordan, who handles analytics. They huddled together, decided to kick it deep. Obviously, that was the right call. And then they get down there, they trusted their defense, got a stop, got the ball back, and everyone knows the rest. And it was a lot of fun here for another one at 11-0. Got to finish this swing out next week against Iowa State.
All right, Frogs able to pull it out of this one. 29-28, the final score of the Horned Frogs. They get it done with Griffin Kale's 40-yard field goal as time expired. And then the Horned Frogs celebrated. And our own Melissa Triebwasser was there.
Brian, you're absolutely right. It was cold on the field, but the ice water was truly in Griffin Kell's veins. I am standing at the spot where Kell hit his game winner as time expired right here. The uprights behind us. As he was running out, the students were getting ready to jump the fences, to get down, to rush the field, to pull off the improbable upset. But it was Kell, again with ice water in his veins, that strolled out here, went through his routine. The bazooka call came in, which is something that the team told us they practice every single Thursday, and they executed it to absolute perfection in this moment, obviously giving TCU the win. Players streamed onto the field. Max Duggan, after spending a nice long moment with Garrett Riley, took some time to find the kicker and to congratulate Griffin and to thank him for bailing TCU out of what could have been a really disappointing loss, obviously. So an awesome moment here on the field between the coaches, the players, celebrating with the fans that were in attendance, and an amazing way to end one of the classic games in this rivalry. A lot more fun for TCU fans driving home today than it was in 2014 when they were on the wrong side of a game-winning kick. So this one should be a lot of fun.
Ready? Thank you, Melissa. Then the celebration started for the Horned Frogs, and then the post-game conversations. They wanted to look ahead to Iowa State. We weren't going to let them off the hook that easily, though. Had to celebrate this 29-28 victory here, and we do it with Sonny Dykes, Max Duggan, with Bud Clark, and with Griffin Kale. My favorite reporter, she paid me to say that, Maggie Hale, was there for it right now.
Absolutely, and here in the tunnel is where those victory boys ran through. Griffin Kell came in to the post-game presser, and he told us something a little unexpected. He said he didn't even know that they were calling this play. He heard the name Bazooka and was like, oh my God, I gotta get out there. He knew they were gonna do a kick, so don't worry, he wasn't unprepared, but he didn't know that they were gonna do this. And Bud Clark even said he had no clue, so I think the whole team was just mixed up in all of these emotions. But Max Duggan talked a lot about the confidence he has in these guys, and you could definitely see it.
There you have it, folks. A little quick check of what happened today here on the banks of the Brazos, right behind us at McLean Stadium, where the Horned Frogs improved to 11-0 on the season, 8-0 in conference play. Now turn their attention to Senior Day now as they'll face Iowa State, of course. That's next up for the Horned Frogs. That'll be a 3 o'clock kickoff at Emma G. Carter Stadium. We'll have you covered all week long here on Frogs Today and FrogsToday.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. We need you to be a part of this run now as the Frogs look to go 12-0 on the season and then turn their attention to the Big 12 championship game. For Coach Bowden, for Jimmy Plunkett, for Melissa Treibwasser, for Maggie Hale, for Jay Fitzgerald, all of our crew here in Waco today, thanks for joining us here on Frogs Today and FrogsToday.com.